This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
But I think it's got to begin and end with Drake Maye at this point, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm very glad that the Patriots won this game because I did not want to spend the next 3 days talking about the officiating. So,
yes.
Yeah, it was crappy. I would say it was crappy both ways. Patriots got a little bit more the raw end of the stick, I think. But yeah, to me, the story of this game again was Drake Maye. I think he was simply outstanding in this game, especially in the first half. Second half got a little bit clunky, and there were a few plays where you're like, all right, maybe he's risking it a little bit too much. We saw the flip out at one point, flipping the ball out into the flat. So that got you a little bit uneasy, but he was just tremendous in this game and coming up big in huge spots. And you're to the point now, John, where it doesn't really matter what the sticks are. You're like, all right, well, the Patriots could probably convert this because Maye's going to make a play. And now what was interesting about this game and that he didn't rely on Stephon Diggs at all. He went to other guys. Yeah. He went to Kayshon Boutte. He went to Demario Douglas. He went to Mac Hollins. He went to Hunter Henry. So that was tremendous. Just to give people an idea, and I don't know if this has been updated, if they were caught up at the end of the game, but I was looking at NFL's next-gen stats. At the end of the game, when I looked, Maye was projected to have basically a 51% completion percentage in this game. He ended at about 73%. That's an absurd completion rate over expected of basically plus 22%. That leads the league so far in week 1. Spencer Rattler was next at plus 16, but that just, it's not an ideal stat or anything like that. It's not perfect, but it's a good indicator of how well Maye played. And the same thing against Buffalo. It was also way up there. And so, to have no running game to speak of, again, it's just absolutely brutal. Maye couldn't really even do a whole lot with his legs in this game. Credit to the Saints for having a good plan against that. But really, when we talk about the Patriots winning this game, it was because of Drake Maye again.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the throws and the completion percentage, as you said, it tells a story. Another story I thought, Greg, that's, really defined Maye's day and just his evolution in such a short time is the pocket awareness and the pocket presence and his ability to kind of step up in it and manipulate it. I'm not seeing as much of that. And again, it was like 6 quarters ago when Collinsworth is correctly pointing out Maye's dropping his head. He's not looking downfield. When the rush is coming, he might get a little skittish in the pocket. And then you see the second half versus the Bills and then most of what he did today, and he's not doing that at all. He's able to step up when there's pressure coming from the outside. When it was coming up the middle, he was able to dance around. He didn't leave the pocket too early. He did on plays where he had to use his legs. They ran a couple of boots as well. But overall, and he's feeling the pressure too. There's a couple times I'm like, does he know that guy's behind him? And he did.
Right.
What are your overall thoughts in terms of how he's been able to kind of handle himself in the pocket versus, we brought it up with Mike and Taylor, this notion that he's still playing a little bit of backyard football and out there and on the run and trying to make things happen off platform, which I'm not sure is entirely accurate.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this was a completely different game going into this. And I think that then the Bills, do a decent job of, getting pressure. They have, Bosa, Rousseau. They didn't have Ed Oliver in that game, but
right.
I think Maye, and of course it was Sunday Night Football. You're going up against the Bills. I think he was a little jittery to start that game. And, he wasn't really being patient. I think he had a good idea going into this game that he could go into this game very comfortable and have patience with what they're doing, wait for things to develop, maybe not on the first read, but maybe on the second window, because the Saints are a team that do not get much pressure. Now, they got Chase Young back in this game, which is really good. He did cause some problems. The Patriots, look like, gave a lot of help to Will Campbell over there. Of course, they have Cameron Jordan, who I didn't really even notice that much today. So that probably speaks to the job that Morgan Moses and also that Campbell did. But, the Saints don't blitz a lot either. So I think I'm not going to take a whole lot away from this game from that aspect because the Saints just don't generate very much pressure. And Brendan Staley is he's going to do what he's going to do, which is, he's not going to get heavy against the run and, he's not going to blitz and, he's going to hope that their zone coverage can, turn a couple balls over. So, it was good to see Drake do that, but I think that had more to do, with the opponent. I just think the big thing with Maye, and I was just writing this over at BSJ, was, this is now 4 games worth basically for Drake Maye. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of turnovers that you don't want back, but he's on like a 4-game heater where he's actually getting better with every game. And I did not think that this was possible this early. I think that, I figured we would certainly see stretches of brilliance from Drake Maye, sort of like we did in the second half against Buffalo. But for him and possibly playing at a really high level consistently in the second half of the season, once he'd been with Josh McDaniels a little bit longer. But for him to be here 6 games into year 2, to me is just astounding. It's surprising. It's a testament to Drake. And also, Josh McDaniels, and I think also the offensive line and making them feel comfortable. But we're at a point now. This is what you're going to hear because it's going to be the Titans. And it's Vrabel going back there, but not a huge challenge. You're going to start to hear some chatter about Drake Maye and MVP. And, to this point, 6 games in with the way that he's playing, I'm not going to disregard that, and I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, if he does this for the rest of the year on a relatively consistent basis, and the Patriots, because of their historically poor schedule, he's going to be in there. He could, if he doesn't win it, or he's one of the top guys, depending on the injuries and all that, he's headed for like a top 5 MVP season.